Hey guys, what's up? This is Anthony Arcanum, and today I felt like talking about the Bible, what the Bible is, its connection with all holy books, and why most people do not know how to read the Bible and totally misconstrue everything in the Bible because they don't realize what the Bible actually is, and not only that, what all holy books actually are. Um, these are all the same book. They're all deleted, especially the Catholic Bible. Our main Bible, the Old and the New Testament, especially the New Testament, but the whole entire Bible was let's how can we say this? About 1,000 years ago, Christianity was just totally all over the place. We still didn't really have a set religion. We had probably several hundred different ideas of the religion. Now, many priests from all around the world got together and they held conference on making one set Bible. All the books that are in there now were voted on, and they did a pretty poor job because most of the Bible is just so heavily deleted and edited. And what they also mixed up was how many times in the Bible are they telling the same story two, three, four times, like Jesus, four fucking times, the same story, all of them leaving out the same information. That's not an accident. You know, Jesus wasn't 12 and then he just was 30. Those 20 years, he was doing a lot in those 20 years. So, what happens now? They vote on these books, and this becomes our standard Bible. Now, to read the Bible, before you even read the Bible, you should go back and you should read the first Jewish holy book, the oldest, I should say, holy book left on record, which is the Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch takes place, with he's pretty much God's best friend. This man was taught magic. He was shown heaven, hell, earth, everything. He rolled with the angels. He was like probably one of the only people, if not the only people, to ever see God face to face. I mean, they were friends. It was God's favorite person. At the end of the book of Enoch, God takes him up to heaven to be with him. Now, Enoch is mentioned in the Bible. Very short passage, but it was Noah's grandfather, and this connects to how Noah got his ark and came into our world. See, Noah was the first in our world. The book of Enoch was before the great flood. This flood happened. I mean, now with the X-rays, scientists has already proved that it happened because they can see all the overlaps of all the old ruins and where land used to be ocean and what's ocean now used to be land. I mean, we could all see that, so which is fascinating, pretty much. But yeah, Enoch was the old world, and God flooded that world out, and it's older than we think it is because they say that there's 1,200 flood stories, but more accurately, there's probably a couple of hundred. But in every corner of the world, the Sumerians, the oldest written text, the oldest written language, um, they actually have a similar flood story, and no one really knows about that. You just know what you read in the Bible, and people doubt these things. And then we have Adam and Eve, and the mystery of there's only Adam and Eve, and they had sons. Who did their sons fuck in order to have babies? Where did Jesus come from? What was he doing for those 20 years? So these are all actually answered. They're answered in books that Christianity, when they had their oh man, when they had the burning times, when they were putting people on the wheel, when they were killing them, beheading them, hanging them, torturing them in all kinds of ways, what they were doing was hiding, trying to get rid of old records. Um, Christianity is all totally 100% taken and based off paganism. All the churches were put over paganist sites. A priest's entire outfit is a pagan outfit. The robe, the rope, the cups, the intoning of words, that's a form of magic. All the imagery that's around, all of their symbols, the cross, which is actually the pentagram. This goes on and on and on and on and on and on so much. The cup that they use, it's pagan. Wiccans, witches, and pretty much anybody inclined in magic uses these instruments to this day. The incense, that's very important with tapping into other realms, other dimensions. It's a form of respect to the entities. All the pantheons have the same thing. Candles, that's tapping into the other dimension too directly. We all use it. It's not an original religion. The same story. You go back to Isis and Osiris. There was an immaculate conception. There was a baby born. 3 men of magic came to the site. Buddha, same exact thing. Buddha wandered around 40 days. Who does that sound like? But anyway, let's not get off topic now. What you have to do is, if you want to read the Bible and understand the Bible, you got to get the book of Enoch. You have to read the Old and New Testament and understand it. Um, there are other old books out there, besides the Torah and the Zohar is an extremely important book. But besides that, all of the apocryphal books, there's many, many, many apocryphal books out there. Many apocryphal books of how Jesus spent 20 years traveling to China and India and learning Buddhism and Hinduism and incorporating a lot of those practices into his. Of course, they don't want you to know that. Where we're taking from Buddhism and Hinduism, where do you think all that peace came from? It's not a peaceful religion. Not back then when they were killing everybody, putting them on wheels and torturing them. You know, Jesus, his words were the words of the Buddha. You could find that out if you read the apocryphal books and the Dead Sea Scrolls. You're looking at a good 5 years of research to really read this stuff and understand it, because you have to read Indians, you have to read their works, the Orientals, the Asians, whatever you call them these days. Um, we got to be PC, but a lot of very interesting religious scripture comes from those sites. And then we have to go way back, Sumerian, whatever we could get on them. You got to read, very important, Rosetta Stone, H.P. Lebowski, Manly P. Hall, all of his works. I think Cornelius Agrippa is 3 books of occult sciences and his 4th book. Some of the most important occult books, and especially the most important magic book we have out there, plagiarized and updated by Francis Barrett and the Magus. That's an excellent book. You have to read that. You have to read The Secret Teachings of All Ages by Manly P. Hall and H.P.'s books, especially the Isis Unveiled. These are all must reads. I mean, you have to read all of these books, and you have to put everything together, and then you have to understand where you stand, because once you hear all the different stories and all the deleted and edited texts, Jesus was a kid like anybody else. Jesus was a powerful kid, and Jesus was a murderer as a child because he didn't know how to handle his power. That's why it was deleted out of the book. But how to read the Bible, basically, you can't just read the Bible. You have to read the Bible. You have to read the Torah. You have to read the Quran. You have to read the Zohar. You have to read as many ancient documents as you can and as many religious documents as you can. And as many occult-based books, like I said, like H.P. and Manly P. And especially Cornelius Agrippa, Francis Barrett, if you want to get into magic. But it all goes into one. You can't understand anything until you read all of it, and then you're going to get mind fucked, because you're going to see things differently. You're going to see everything differently, and you really got to realize that no matter what you're studying, it's all one main religion, and it's one main doctrine. The secret doctrine, is let me shout her out on that. Let me shout HP out on that. You should read The Secret Doctrine. Hitler read it. He took it the wrong way. Once again, all of these holy books, anything can be misconstrued. Don't read about the race of white superior people and go off killing everybody. That's not what the story was about. That's not why it happened. If they were really a race, they would just happen to be blonde-haired, blue-eyed, beautiful, strong people. That's it. He's trying to make a race of the same exact thing. You can't do that. You can't do it. I mean, what do you can't make gods out of men. I know some people like to say that, and we do have God in us because the whole universe is one, but you can't actually make a man a god. I mean, I know E.A. Koetting invites all of you to become a living god, but we're talking about a man who had a drug arrest, a lot of other things. I'm not knocking this dude, actually like some of his entertaining videos, and his book on the lesser I mean, not his book, I'm sorry, his video on the lesser banishing ritual is probably the best source of that information for a rookie. Reading is hard. You're like, what the fuck is all of this shit that they're talking about? Yehi Bahi and everything else. Watch that video. But it's a process. If you want to study occultism, you have to study everything, and regardless of what your main belief is, you have to read everything and put it all together, and then figure out exactly what you are, and figure out why you are what you are. You don't have to be religious at all. You don't have to practice magic, but you can't talk about anything until you've read everything. And they turned the Quran into that's actually a manual of war. You hear me talk a lot about Muslims and how wrong they are, only because the Quran is so wrong. It's an evil book. It's a war manual. And Muhammad was a ruthless serial killer. He was brutal. There was nothing good. There's nothing good about any of those fucking Muslims in that Quran. A lot of Muslims are great people. They take the book how they take it, but that's one book you should read it and say, all right, these are a bunch of sick fucks. Burn that shit. Burn the fucking Quran. Piss on it. Shit on it, and you'd be better off. So read the Quran. Read all the holy books, and just realize that the Quran is a war manual. So if you want to take what you could take out of it to benefit yourself, do that. But don't become a Muslim. Become anything but a fucking Muslim. All right, and yeah, like I said, start with the book of Enoch before you go to the Old Testament, because the flood is going to connect it, and it's going to make a lot more sense. And read the apocryphal books, the Dead Sea Scrolls, and the other ancient books that are out there on Catholicism and Christianity before you make up your mind about that religion. And the same thing with Judaism. Get the Zohar, get the book of Enoch, the Torah, everything else that you could see, and put it all together and see how it all fits into one, or separates itself, and you'll be a lot better off, and you'll be able to understand everything. All right. Thank you, and have a good day.